Welcome to the 38th International Documentary Film Festival in Munich. We are very happy to greet you here in the Silbersaal, in the Deutschen Theater, wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. My name is Elena Alvarez-Lutz and I'm a filmmaker. The DOK.fest is still on screen today and tomorrow, and then it will be online until the 21st of May. So I'm very happy to have William Sabourin O'Reilly here with us, the director of LÁZARO and the Shark. Hi, William.
Hi.
Good to have you here.
Yes.
So you came all the way from Cuba via USA to Munich?
Well, actually, yes and no. I live in New Orleans for 20 years now, 21 years. But yes, I'm from Cuba, from Havana. Some members of the team did come from Cuba directly from Havana to Frankfurt and then came to Munich for the festival. My brother, who is also from Cuba, from Havana, he lives in Germany since 2008. So, yeah.
So you had
all
the
this international
chance to a family reunion in a way.
Yes, yes. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. I've been to Germany a few times, but this time is very special because of the festival, but also because of my brother, my little brother, who he worked on the film too. Okay. And you know, it's an opportunity to have a family reunion and also a film reunion too. My assistant director, Alexa O'Reilly, she is my cousin too.
I see.
And this was the first opportunity for her to watch the film.
I see.
Ever.
So it's a very Cuban issue, this diaspora, this you have
Right.
to ruin, you have to take chances to get to meet the people you
Yeah.
want to meet, and that's also a little bit the theme of your film.
Yes,
it's like
yes.
being in and out and
Right.
how
Yeah.
you're kind of keeping up the relationships.
Yeah.
How did you meet the people? How did you come to Santiago? I mean, you are from Havana, you're living in New Orleans.
Yeah.
How did you get to Santiago de Cuba?
Yes, good question. My executive producer, Tomas Montoya, he is from Santiago. I grew up there in Santiago, and he came to New Orleans in 2004. And we met, and you know, I had been to Santiago de Cuba a couple of times during my youthful days in Cuba. And I was really impressed and intoxicated by the culture, street culture, and specifically conga. And when me and Tomas, we talked about it, and Katrina just had happened in New Orleans, and I made a short film about Katrina, and Tomas saw it, and he got inspired. He said, yeah, man, you know, watching what you can do, what about making a documentary about the congas in Santiago? And you know, he knew everybody there. So we planned a trip, research and development, and in 2006, we went there for the first time. And then we met LÁZARO. We met the Shark, but, you know, distance. And then we met, you know, a lot of people. We were doing interviews, and we were recording a lot of our parades, but we didn't have a story yet, of course.
So you met LÁZARO before becoming a father?
Before becoming a father. He became a father in 2013, and we met him 7 years earlier. He was, you know, very, yes, so much energy and such a charismatic person.
Because it's a very, very specific and kind of new kind of protagonist, like being this young man,
Right.
leading a conga,
Yeah.
having all these hopes to win,
Right.
and at the same time having a very hard time being with this relationship with his wife who is abroad,
Right.
and having 3 children.
Right.
Which he has to take care of. So
Right,
that was
right.
like un golpe de suerte, no?
Right.
Lucky for you as
yes,
a filmmaker.
Wonderful. It changed the whole thing, the way that we were approaching the story, our trips to Cuba, our dreams and aspirations for the film. Remember, Cuba was I call it that Cuba is in a perpetual state of transition. You know, you're always hoping and waiting when this is gonna end. You know, when it's gonna, and then at the time, Fidel Castro was still alive. And so we were waiting to see, and then we want to tell the story before he dies because everything changes, maybe, hopefully. And so we were in a rush, but at the same time, when we find out, my brother is there, and we find out that Lazaro's wife is pregnant, I say, man, and they are triplets. Oh man, this is the whole game changer. You know, we have to focus on this. And then we find out that she's gonna be sent to Venezuela. That's another, you know, it's a huge dramatic bucket of, you know, dramatic nuggets in the story. And so we say, well, let's just focus on this. At the same time, we were already doing the poet a little bit because he was a staple in Santiago for a long time, so we were following him a lot. And he was so witty with his chants, and he always have something new to say, or a new song, so we kept in touch with him. And then we found out his wife had a kid too. And then we say, well, we know that we have this theme, this fatherhood or parenthood theme in the film that we have to explore. Now, these are a black community, these are black characters, and there's this stigma, at least in the US and Latin America, this stigma that, you know, fathers or men of colors are not always present as a parent. And that's a theme that we were lucky to have such a wonderful characters of human beings taking care of the kids that we saw it was strong. And especially with Lázaro, like you say, it's 3 of the same age. You know, it's different. It's different.
I've never. It was really the first time I saw this image of 3 children crawling like kitten, one after the other through the earth. And I said, "Wow, what is this?" I was really, wow, what an image! I mean, how lucky were you?
I was lucky about it. I have to tell you. You see that scene, the first scene of the introduction of Lázaro in the film. And if you see that when you watch it again, you see Lázaro is so sweaty. And he's coming from lines and lines and lines to get, you know, supplies and food for his children. And I was in that house waiting for Lázaro for like 4 hours, sweating. And I got, you know, I shoot the triplets for a while and played with them. It was just me by myself. And eventually Lázaro came upstairs with his bag of chicken and all that stuff, and I was so happy to see him, and he was so happy to see me too, and the kids were happy, so everything was so magical that moment. So every time, you know, it just gets me very emotional every time I watch that sequence, and it was just perfect to intro into Lázaro's life and domestic life. Obviously, you have a question, which that's the storytelling technique, right? You have the question, where's the mother?
Yeah.
You know, so then it opens up that lane for
no, you have all the elements of a drama. No, you have the poet, you have the love story, you have a father, you have a young person wanting to succeed with his conga.
Right.
You have a shark, you have the bad guy,
right.
And
you have the rivalry, and then you have the expatriates, Nico living in Miami.
You have the expat, and you have a system.
The system too. Yeah,
it's a perfect soup. And how did you get the confidence of the shark?
That was tough.
I guess so.
That was tough. The shark. We were. I remember. It took me like 2 years. And when I say 2 years, remember, it's like a carnival is in July. You have to wait until the next carnival to get, you know, that footage, that festive footage. But then in between, there's the stuff that happened in their life. And I knew at that point that carnival and conga was just going to be a pretext to tell a deeper story, you know, Cuba under the surface. And that for that reason, we needed to get there between carnival season, when life is normal. And then in order to get really deep into it, I had to get the trust of the shark, because I had already Lázaro's trust. I had the poet trust. You know, I mean, the poet is like very excited. He's like a poet, you know, like an actor. He wants to be on camera, you know, to deliver his message.
Course,
so that was easy. And then there was the shark, because of his lifestyle, because of ideology, because of his worldview. it's a real person. It's not a fiction character. You know, I have to tread with caution, because I don't want to lose him as a character, but I don't want to disrespect him or disrespect his community either. So I have to grease the wheel, you know, and talk to him, and, you know, try to get him to understand that, you know, this is good, you know, this is about the culture. And then when he understood that, eventually he knew that it was a little deeper because of the questions that I asked, but I always with respect and with keeping his dignity. And I knew if I show him a clip of some of his stuff in the daily basis, he was going to be sure that you know, it was not going to be a caricature, because he knows he's an extravagant character. He knows that the way that he dresses, the way that he dances, the way that he conducts his life. He knows that
well, he's a kind of trickster, no? I
right,
mean,
he's a trickster, and he knows that.
Yeah, he's the trickster, and he's like
right.
shady a little bit, and he says so. I mean, he says himself, no?
Exactly.
I mean, and the revolution gave me everything, because I was like a small-time crook, or right. maybe a bigger-time crook, I don't know. So, I mean, after like gaining the confidence, how do you shape your relationship with the protagonists? Like, what did they get in return, apart from the film?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Great question. What we did, especially when, now, see, my brother was living in Cuba until 2008. And, you know, he's my little brother, so obviously I was an example for him. He wanted to be like his big brother, right? And he see me coming to America, to Cuba with cameras. He wants to be part of the crew. And then next thing you know, he becomes close friend with Lázaro. And Lázaro will go to Havana and stay with my brother and stay in my house. There's a scene in the film that is a flashback that Lázaro is coming to Europe, to perform.
Yeah.
And then
he didn't find the love of his life.
Exactly, yeah. My brother filmed all that scene, you know, from Havana airport, all that stuff, you know, the fairway, yeah. And then, so Lázaro will get that satisfaction to have a friend that he made that is following him around with the camera. I mean, for a young man to have somebody following the camera is a big boost of confidence. Then, eventually, when he got the kids, I say, this is a great opportunity for me to give back. You know, I bring stuff for the kids, you know, and stuff. Obviously, I win their heart of his and his wife. But then later, you know, things get complicated, complex. For example, I tell you the scene that the mother comes back, and I hope there's no spoiler, but she comes back, and then we are there to wait for her. We had to travel from New Orleans, Miami, Havana, right away, just like really quickly, you know. And then we got to Havana, to Santiago. She was supposed to arrive at 6 in the afternoon. And she didn't arrive until 3 in the morning. That bus, that scene, the bus she comes, it's 3 in the morning. She hasn't seen her children. It's in 2 years. It is a very tense and very sad moment. You know, obviously, she is in a very
terrific, yeah.
And she's in a very, very vulnerable state. And I think it would be embarrassed if I was her, because of the children don't recognize her, and you know, I'm there with the camera, the mic. It was like 3 people, but still, small house. So after that, I said, man, we have to do something with this for her. You know, I didn't know what to do exactly. You know. And then Lázaro told me that they were gonna get married. I said to my crew, okay, well, let's shoot the wedding and give it to her as a present, you know, and all the pictures and everything. But then we go back to America, and then we're looking at all the footage of the wedding, and you know, we put a mock scene together and say, oh, this is too good. It's got to be in the film. But
cheating.
Yeah. But that's at the same time, I think that she was really happy with the pictures, and we gave her a DVD, of the whole wedding and all that stuff. So you do things like that, you know.
You exchange things.
You know,
and were you also asked for money? I just asked because I have been filming in Cuba, and
did they ask for money?
Every step.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They ask for money, of course, you know. But there's ways for us filmmakers and artists in a collaboration not to feel like you are bribing somebody.
I felt like a golden goose.
Right.
That has to be like
right. No. You have to kill that as soon as you can, you know. And the way that we did it, like I say, for you shoot weddings or a birthday or something that they don't even expect, and you're there. So and it works both ways, because you give them something that they don't expect, but at the same time you get in their trust. And then the minute that they feel, you are into something when you have filmed like 2 or 3 hours and recorded audio, and they don't even notice, that nobody knows, and everybody's so relaxed. Now you know that you have the trust of the community, or the family, or the character, and that's golden. And if you didn't have to pay for that, then you never have to pay for it, because they know. And at some point, Elena, right, we knew that they were not taking us serious in terms of like, or at least me, because a lot of trips I went there by myself with my camera, it's a small camera. Yeah. So I'm there, filming from my knee, sometimes here, and I knew that, and it was because it took such a long time. Over years, of course. If you film over years and you have this relationship with these people over years, you're like part of the family. Right. And I mean, and you're Cuban, and you're also trustworthy because you're not white, and so I guess that helps a lot. That helps a lot too. And then there's also thought that, oh man, he said that he's making a film, but he's not making no film. It's just his hobby, he's enjoying it. That helped, that helped too. He's enjoying the conga. Yeah, this is just a crazy guy using that as an excuse to keep coming here. Yeah. And then, the longer it goes, they forget about it. Yeah. And what you said before is that since years, everybody is like waiting for in this transition times, the political transition times. So we had, here in Germany, we had the GDR and the Federal Republic, and then the wall came down, and then things were changed very, very quickly for the German Democratic Republic. And today, if you really see it's like 40 years now, so they're not very happy, and things haven't been done very well. It was just like a takeover from the Federal Republic, and with all the political system was just put over there and said, now we're going to show you how to do things. And I think the situation in Cuba, everybody hopes for something to get better. Everybody, or many people, hope for change. The revolution is in a kind of wicked situation because they have all the aid by the tourism and everything, which is obviously capitalistic. And but is there a kind of third way? Is there, for example, there is only revolution or fierce US capitalism? Is there something in between that people are working on? Is there something, or is it going to end and then all the Miami expats will come and say, now look, we're going to show you how to do this? Great question. First of all, I think that the time that we used to look at the Cuban diaspora as South Florida or Miami only, those times are gone. We have Cubans all over the world, successful Cubans, very intelligent, very democratic. They have come, and for a long time, Cubans have mixed Cuban children that have grown up here in Europe, in America, and different parts of America. So, but yes, the community, South Florida community, Miami, is very, it's been there since 1959, basically, and they created this city. So it's like West Berlin and East Berlin, Havana, So I get that point. Unfortunately, I think that is going to be what you say, a takeover in terms of
I mean, you're going to have McDonald's and five-star.
Yeah.
You're going to have really the fierce capitalism breaking in.
But the capitalism, the thing is that they already have that in the keys.
No, I mean the system.
Around Cuba.
Yeah.
They have all Melia Cohiba, all these different hotel corporations in all the keys around Cuba.
Yeah.
In Havana as well, and some other tourist areas in the east part of Cuba. Now,
but you still have the healthcare system. I mean, there's still some like parts where you say, is there a chance for a third way?
No. 64 years of communist rule. The destruction is so evident of everything, the infrastructure, economy, and then society and values, traditions. Everything is affected. Now, in a country that is it's an island and you don't have salt, in a country that was the first producer of sugar in the world, and now we have to import sugar, and people don't have sugar to sugar the coffee or best tobacco in the world, we don't have cigarettes. This is like the example of the most basic stuff that we don't have. So, let alone the healthcare system is in ruins. Education system is in ruins. I don't enjoy saying these things about my country. I used to be very proud of it, you know. Now, it's not like I go out there and say, oh, this is the worst country in the world. It's not. But I don't have the pride to say, okay, we should save this, we should save this. You know what we should save? The joy of the Cuban people. We cannot hope they don't eliminate that too, because this is very close to eliminate that. It's like we're losing like erosion. We're losing things, and then we see it in real time. I see it, I notice it. And so it's really hard to save anything right now. Everything is crumbling in front of our eyes. Over 300,000 Cubans left in 1 year to America, only to America. And obviously they're still immigrating to Europe and Africa, anywhere they can. People are going to immigrate to Haiti from Cuba. Haiti, they have more food in Haiti, or available food, than in Cuba. You know?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. For example, I have to, just give you this anecdote. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. And all the Cubans are in the diaspora, they know that this is true, and I hope that more people talk about this, because this is crazy. We have to, the Cubans in the diaspora outside Cuba, we have to buy the groceries for our people there, for our family there, because there's no groceries stores that they can go and buy whatever they want. That only exists online. But they cannot get in online from the island. It's not because of the internet. Excuse me, it's not because of the internet. It's because they don't have the money, and even if they had the money, the system is created that only can be purchased from abroad. Meaning that all the Cubans that leave, even the 300,000 that left last year, and me, I left in 1999, my brother left in 2008. We have the family there. They are like hostages. And we have to pay a ransom every month to feed them. And if we don't, same with the internet, with the phone, we have to pay everything. That's the way that the Communist Party is sustaining itself. And
it's very complicated. No, I get it. It's, I mean, we all know it's very, very complicated. It's just, I mean, like, what's going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But nobody can see into the future.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all we can do is, educate people outside that they don't know about my country. Make films, that's what I can do.
Yeah, no, your film is absolutely going to contribute to this, and we are very, very happy to have it here, and thank you so much for your work and for all these years of continuously filmmaking and believing in your characters and your people.
Thank you so much.
And for you, dear audience, you can. This film is also nominated for the Audience Award, donated by the Bayerisches Fernsehen and Dreisat. So please, if you want to vote for the film, don't forget to do it. So bye-bye. See you next time for the next film conversation. Bye, William.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.